Hello, 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 my beautiful healing transformation queens. I want to send you a video to kind of walk you through the next steps of our journey. So I started these videos because I felt like I wanted to give you more information about what you were experiencing. And what you can expect to experience, as well as some tips while you're on the journey. So when we get together in our one-on-one sessions, I like for that time to specifically just be about me supporting you, me kind of guiding you, and then me also helping you understand, what exactly is the next level, and how do you get there? How do you reach the goals that you want to have in your recovery? So today, this video is going to be on healthy communication. So I know we talked a lot about boundaries. We talked a lot about, narcissism, gaslighting, and all those different variations of information connected to setting boundaries and why we have to set boundaries. But I wanted to make sure that we also talk about healthy communication. Now, in our years of codependency, one thing that we have done is we have formed a way to communicate that is either passive or passive aggressive, or sometimes both. So the reason why I say that is because when we live a life of people pleasing and codependency, as we know, as we've talked about, it kind of minimizes your voice, and it makes us feel as though the things that we're saying aren't important. The things that we feel are not valid or not important, and the people around us cannot meet our needs. Therefore, there is no need for us to voice them, right? Or we have thoughts like, well, people really don't want to help me. People really don't care what I'm going through, so I just need to figure out things on my own. And because of that, without you realizing it, you have indeed held a certain way of communicating your needs to people, whether you know it or not. Now, for me, myself, I can honestly say that I used to call myself like the passive aggressive queen, and many of you may be as well. I didn't voice my opinion about things or what I felt I needed to people, but I definitely made it clear. I gave a lot of nonverbal cues, which is what I want to talk about today. So some of the nonverbal cues that I want you to get a sheet of paper and write down as I say them. But some nonverbal things that we do is eye rolling, sighing, looking away, beginning to just kind of avoid the interaction with the person. Sometimes we physically walk away from people. Sometimes we leave situations without much communication. There's a variety of things. I mean, I could probably just keep going on and on and on about passive and passive aggressive ways that we communicate. But I want you to start reflecting on what are some of the things that you do. And I want to give you some tips on how we can be more directive. Because one important thing that I don't want you to miss is what you have to say is valid. Your words deserve to be heard. Your emotions deserve to be heard. Your needs deserve to be met, whether it's needs from yourself or needs from other people. And I want you to know that you are important, you are special, and the way that we communicate our needs is much different than how we used to communicate them before. So we are going to be embarking on this journey together for the next 4 weeks, where I'll be giving you our regular homework assignments, but we will also be reviewing, what are some of the ways that you find yourself communicating. So let's get started. Number one, the top thing that we need to do when we are communicating is we have to be clear and concise. Definitely clear. If you long-winded like me, that concise part may be out the window, okay? But we definitely have to be clear. We have to be clear on What do we want to communicate with this person? When we go into situations, it's imperative that we understand that no matter what the situation is, whatever is happening, it's all about us. It is all about us 24/7. Now, I know you may be thinking, well, Tanisha, sometimes people do things that I don't like. Sometimes people say things I feel like is out of pocket. Sometimes people just react to me in ways that I don't like. How is that still about me when these people are doing things? The reason why I say it's still about you is because what they're doing or saying is triggering something that's already in you. So the goal that we are going to be working on is how can we together, okay, identify what exactly are your triggers. I'm going to be spending more time with you specifically talking about your triggers, because once we can identify what the triggers are, and then we talk through them and you process your feelings around them, they're no longer triggers. It may be something that, kind of stings a little bit when you hear it or when somebody does it, depending on what it is, but it will no longer be to the point where somebody is saying that thing or doing that thing to you and you are having like all these physical and maybe even psychological, right, responses, like having thoughts, having visions, feeling like you're breaking down crying and you are just truly struggling to self-regulate, right? That is what we want to eliminate. So by us identifying what exactly those triggers are, that will help us get to that point. Okay, so that's number one. Clear and concise. What is the goal that you want to talk to this person about, right? And you knowing what you need, what your triggers are before coming into it is imperative, because that is going to help you be able to self-regulate when that other person may be having some severe responses to what you are saying, okay? Number two, when we listen to people, right, we have to be able to literally take in what they're saying. So a lot of times we hear people, but we're not listening, right? And listening is difficult. It's not easy. Listening involves us literally having a reciprocity kind of experience, like a reciprocal experience with the person, and truly taking in the information that they're telling us or the feedback that they're sharing with us, and breaking it down for ourselves so that we can better understand the message they are trying to get across to us. That is what listening is all about. I want you guys to try to spend more time truly listening to people, listening to what they're saying, listening to the feedback that they are giving you. And then when we find ourselves actually listening to it, then the third step is we are willing to clarify the things that person has said that is not valid. And in addition to clarifying them, we are also able to understand their perspective, but then also give them feedback and be clear with them about what we meant by what we said. So you guys always know I use myself as an example because I want to make sure I'm clear. So an example would be, over the weekend, I had a friend who I'm going on vacation with a couple friends, and a friend of mine asked me if she could room with me. I originally said no because I wanted to have time for myself. That was my first response. Then another friend asked me if they could room with me, and I said no to that friend as well. And then I recommended that they both come together, right? So at this point, both my friends are kind of have eyebrows raised, and they're asking me, wonder why Tanisha doesn't want us to room with her, right? They're taking it personal, like they have done something to me, and that's the reason why I don't want them to room with me on this little mini vacation. So we had a conversation, and my friend came to me and she was like, I'm taking offense to you not wanting to room with me. I listened to what she said, and then I clarified for her. First, watch this though. First, I validated her feelings. Okay? We're going to be talking about this in individual sessions, but I want to say it now too. The first thing I did is I validated her feelings. So the friend came to me with a concern. I validated her feelings. I said, I'm sorry that you feel this way. I'm sorry that, my actions have made you feel like I don't want to spend time with you, etc., etc. Next, I said, my decision to room on my own doesn't have anything to do with you or our other friend. It's about me just really going through a hard time right now, and I truly want to get away, but I want to have some space between you guys and myself. I want to be able to come together all as friends and have a good time, and then I want to be able to go back in my room at the end of the night and just be by myself and cry or do whatever I'm going to do because I'm grieving. So when I explained it like that, my friend was like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. So then the kicker was, well, Tanisha, I asked you because I really can't afford to stay by myself. So I told her, I said, I really need to hold on to what I need for me. However, our other friend also would like someone to stay with. She may be a choice, right? So I give you that example to say, and hopefully you saw the process of that example. I was very clear about what I needed. If you notice, I did not break my boundary. Still have my own room. Okay. I did not break my boundary. However, I did listen to them. I validated their feelings. I empathized with them. And then from there, I clarified more about why I truly made the decision that I made. Now, in that clarification, though, I was very vulnerable. And we're going to be talking about that more in session. How comfortable are you with being vulnerable? Vulnerability is something that is, it's very tricky. It's very tricky. There is power in vulnerability that we're going to be talking about individually in session. But I want you to start thinking about how vulnerable do you really want to be with people, right? A lot of times we feel like vulnerability requires us, we have to trust the other person. I agree with that, but then I feel like the bigger perspective of vulnerability is you have to be strong within yourself and know who you are, what you need, and trust that you can be vulnerable without breaking down, without you completely losing, all of your regulation and feeling like you can't pull yourself together, right? And I want to support you in really starting to ask yourself the open-ended question, how vulnerable do I want to be with family members, with friends, with people that I'm connecting with? What do I want to share and what don't I want to share? You can share as much as you want or as little as you want. I was very transparent, but I've also been doing this work for 7 years now. And so I'm to the point where I kind of don't care. I'm me. I love me. If people want to walk around saying, "Oh, Tanisha says she's gonna be crying in her room, and that's why she want to be by herself," I'm to the point where I'm fine with that. But you may not be though. And when I was first starting like you, I wasn't yet either. So if you're not, it's okay. But I do want to bring up the conversation because I believe that there's power in vulnerability, and I want us to talk about it individually in session this week and next week. Okay, so those are the 3 effective ways, okay, that we can communicate. Now, I will be giving you a PowerPoint in addition to this week so that you have this information. If you did take notes or if you did rewind, this video, kudos to you. But you will be getting a PowerPoint with these specific 3 key points in it, as well as some additional information that we will be going over in our group coaching session this following next week. So I hope that this video has helped you along your journey. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And please remember, I love you. I am here to support you. If you would like to tap into your 20-minute clarity sessions, please make sure you do that. I'm always available to you. Or if you simply just feel like, hey, Tanisha, I know that next week is supposed to be a group session, but can I have a session? I'm completely fine with that as well. I want to support you as much as I can and be there for you as much as I can. So I look forward to seeing your beautiful face this week in our individual session, and I hope you have a great, great week. Bye.